When people say we should redistribute the wealth, how do they plan on realistically doing that? This is one of the roles of taxes. Income tax rates are higher for rich people. And there are also other taxes that affect the rich more than other people, e.g. capital gains, estate taxes, etc. Raise taxes on corporations and the rich to pre-1980s levels. The review is used in the pre-1980s manner. Education, vocational training and infrastructure to benefit the working middle class. The higher taxes on corporate profit also encourage more investment in R&D, benefiting the overall economy including all socioeconomic classes. Okay, so the initial plan was something we call trickle-down economics, right? I'm rich, but don't tax me as much because my profits pay for employees to work under me. And as I get richer, so will they. This was a believable lie. And if it weren't for the long-term effects of this going unchecked, we wouldn't be discussing this. $1 million means a lot. $1 billion means often owing millions in taxes. However, billionaires can find ways to owe less by claiming that what they made is less in different ways. Or by claiming they've paid it back into charities and things like that. However, these charities and public projects are often unregulated. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation pretty much ensures that the money made by Microsoft founder Bill Gates never gets collected for tax purposes. But these same foundations don't actually have to be used for the purposes they're stated for directly. So when you donate to a foundation that say, to help with a severe medical issue, you would expect that money to be given to doctors, to studying treatments, etc. But where that money often goes is into the political campaigns of candidates that share views with the owners of those charities, under the guise of supporting a candidate who cares about that medical issue. Now that money meant to be a tax dollar has just turned into a donation to a candidate who ultimately will work in the best interest of the billionaire of the charity funding their PAC. By avoiding taxes, they have also spat in the face of democracy and now made their political power larger than your power of voting. By directly controlling what the candidates you voted for will themselves be voting on. That's not great. And what does the public get for it? Well, those millions in taxes should have gone to roads, government agencies, education, all of these things the people depend on. And we foot the bill in our taxes collected, be it a cut on our potential tax return, or an increased percentage overall. We pay for it individually with thousands of our dollars per year. So the fact is, a lot of redistribution of wealth would start there, at just us getting money back or reduced tax rates that could easily build up slowly with each paycheck. But if we went further and busted up a company like Amazon or Walmart for their equally to blame abuse of customers and employees alike, wealth redistribution continues by forcing the same kind of competition in the industry that we got when we first shattered Bell like a mirror in industries that fought tooth and nail for the market, until we eventually ended up with Verizon and AT&T, both of which could absolutely be busted up again as they both know they won't really be competing with each other. Not only does it force competition of existing assets to drive down prices and increase employee wages, but it also carved out room for smaller companies that have been choked out by these two companies, in particular, to actually thrive and be able to grow in a way they couldn't before. Increasing the job market as a whole, as more positions means more employees who aren't stuck at just one location that does their niche of work and have options to leave companies they're less happy with. Even integration of healthcare insurance into the government is a way to redistribute wealth away from middleman companies that jack up rates and separate a doctor from their patient by making medical decisions on both's behalf despite not even seeing the patient in question. Trimming out the fat that is the hands in the industry will ultimately bring all these costs down to a more manageable level. But it's not a simple process. And I've only scratched the surface at issues and potential solutions. And I'll admit what I'm saying doesn't discuss issues down the line all solutions could have. But when you think of redistribution of wealth less like moneybags and not like a slow but steady process of returning dignity and a future to the public, it starts to make sense how each step slowly but surely helps. Tax the wealthy, raise minimum wage, subsidize, or provide free services for lower-income residents. Start there, at least. Reinstate the wage cap that Reagan got rid of. So wages above a certain percent are taxed at 100% so that extra monies go back into wages and the company, not into CEO pockets. For example, the CEO of the dollar store makes over $16 million. And they want to pay a store manager $45,000 to work a min of 50 hours a week. More if someone calls out. Let's say she only works the min 50 hours. That's $17 an hour for management. No stocks, pathetic benefits, etc. And the hourly workers make $10. Redistributing the wealth means everyone gets more money and CEOs aren't paid insane amounts. Step 1. Tax the wealthy to pay for universal health care. Everyone in the middle class on down just got a huge pay raise and the removal of a huge source of stress and uncertainty. Similar things can be done with education, childcare, utilities, and food. Taxes on the super wealthy and raising the minimum wage would help. Old people selling houses to younger couples instead of corporations who are buying every home and are going to make us rent for life. The rich actually owe taxes but they don't pay them. They are too rich to be jailed and just tell the government that they will eventually pay. According to the Treasury's report, the top 1% of taxpayers, ranked by income, failed to pay about $163 billion in taxes last year, making up about 28% of total unpaid taxes, while the top 5% evaded about $307 billion, or nearly 53% of the overall sum. A cap on the CEO's, executives' pay would be a good place to start. Something like the highest paid person is not allowed to make any more than x10 the pay of the lowest paid employee. Edit. People keep saying this won't work, but I ask you, is our current system of the average CEO of S&P 500 companies in America making 324 times more than their median worker working out for us now? Just want to point out that the premise of the question implies the default status is non-redistributory. However, there is already a redistribution of wealth from lower to upper class, from laborers to employers, etc. The plan is to convince a government that is 100% controlled by the ultra rich to take money from the ultra-rich and give it to people that are not ultra-rich. It's not a good plan. But that's the plan, I guess. Instead of companies taking all the profit, pay workers more.
Robin Hood style.
Besides the common answer of taxes, another way is to take land. For instance, some people think landlords and rich people should have a cap on how many houses they can own. If this was implemented, it may reduce the price of houses because there's more available to buy. If you were going to put this into practice today, you might just tell people they can only own 3 houses. People that already own 3 might be given an exception, but not allowed to buy more, or told to sell off their excess by a certain date. Tax the rich and use the money to fund social programs and safety nets. Taxes to support social programs, that's it. This is what is needed. No longer can we let Amazon operate without paying massive corporate taxes. There is just no justification for it. Pay poor people more without increasing the prices of their everyday expenses. If you want to take personal responsibility for wealth redistribution, you can participate in initiatives like Resource Generation's Redistribution Pledge, which encourages people in upper class income brackets to pledge 7% of their yearly income to social justice movements. https resourcegeneration.org/redistributionpledge/. Of course, it would be more impactful to redistribute the wealth of the 1%, but if you want to do something immediately in addition to the marathon of systemic change, there's one way to do it. Pay employees as little as possible. Raise prices. Give CEOs raises. And cut taxes on the rich. And call it trickle down. It has worked for 50 years. To be nice and kind, reverse the process.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.